Good evening, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. It's just me and Matthew, and I think Steve's in the chat. Welcome to Whole Great Bricks. There's Battery Power Bricks. Welcome to the show. As you could tell by the intro music, Chris is not here. Mark is not here as well. They are both off doing other things, whatever those things may be. And for the record, I did look before I started the show this evening to see if I could find the right video with the right music. And I think this whole time, Chris has been lying to us that it's not just a button. He's actually having to click the video that's got no music, and then he goes down and he clicks the music separate. So he does it as a 2-button thing. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. And I'm just too lazy to do that right now, so I'm just a 1-button click and kind of.
Let the record reflect that this proves that Chris can walk and chew gum at the same time.
This is true. He cannot tap his head and rub his belly at the same time, but he can chew gum and walk at the same time. So it just all depends on what it is. Ryan, entertaining lame. There's Autumn from Florida. Good evening. Good evening. We are gonna. This is gonna be kind of. It's gonna be interesting.
New parts.
Because you got the two chattiest people on the show together with nobody else to interrupt us except each other. So this could go really, really cool, or it could be really, really lame. So we'll see. I'm a one. All right, I'll show you. Yeah, I'm a one-click pony. All right, so you, I know that you were chomping in the bit. So talk about your parts.
I haven't been on the show for like almost.
I know you could probably. I mean, I'll set the timer now. It'll probably be 30 minutes by the time you're done talking about all the parts you got in.
Well, we can break this up in a second.
Okay.
You want to talk about like new parts of Bulk Lug first, and then we'll talk about.
You know what? Let's just dive in the fact that we got Lug Bulk this week. I think that's the whole thing. What's up, Stever? Stever, it's just going to be us. So if you don't want to hear lots of rambling by me or Matthew, it's okay to cut out early. We understand.
Steve, I'm going to be driving by you on the 10th. Birmingham, right?
Oh, you're coming back through Alabama?
Yeah, I'm cutting down past Auburn. I'm dropping off a bulk lug book order to somebody there, and then on the way back, I'm coming through Birmingham. I'm dropping one off for Gary Howie, who lives out that way. I'm taking different routes because counties reasons.
Absolutely, because you got to maximize your driving. I understand.
If you're not on a school bus, we could potentially get like a meal, but I don't know. I don't know what time I'm going to be coming through. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, it's so my life's been crazy. So not only did I go on this road trip and then I ended up in the hospital, but then I came back and I had like all the schoolwork to do. Wow.
Sorry, I thought, hey, why don't I zoom in? I'm like, no, back up. Anyway, so.
In the meantime, like I had ordered parts a long time ago, and as soon as I get back, there's like all the stuff to do, coordinating bulk lug sorting and yada yada yada, and catching up with all the stuff. So I literally had not opened. And I'm a parts hound, so the fact that these sat up here in the room, still sealed in their poly bags and their Ziploc bag, and I was like, if we do the show, I can actually open these up. But a couple of things. So these are the in that new friend set, the new Chan's.
This one, you mean? This friend set? Yeah.
I haven't built it yet. I own it, but I haven't built it yet. So I ordered the parts, and those came. I'm very excited. In fact, I'm hoping to do some kind of new Hashima.
I didn't do that. Did I do that? Oh, he lost him for a second. I was like, I didn't do that.
You turn your own camera off or something.
I'm like, don't do that to me.
Well, we also got some. It doesn't help if I block the camera. That's right.
No, it does not.
We got some redfish, and of course, everybody needs some dark turquoise chickens.
Turquoise chickens.
And these will go from my
your Jetson's
tower, the dark turquoise. So I got 4 of these stamping parts. I'm pretty jazzed about that. There is occasionally what I would call a parts fail, where one is on online bricks and pieces and excitedly clicking things in, and you're like, oh, that looks cool, I've never seen that before. So I clicked this part in and did not realizing it was a Duplo part, and I don't even know what this is supposed to be, but I was like, oh, it's interesting.
I think it's
a what?
A cloud, like Cumulonimbus. Okay. type thing. That would be my
Cool.
guess.
I'm gonna have to play around just to figure out how I'm gonna attach it to other things, because I'm assuming this is system compatible somewhere.
Yeah, I almost think that is probably like a turn, like a 4x4 turntable.
Yeah, that's what I was
Would be
thinking.
my guess.
It looks about the right size.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Were you on when I was explaining about the fact that I accidentally ordered a bunch of dark blue when I meant to order black?
Yes.
Yes.
I heard that. And I got the new kayak and a new color.
How did you not have that already?
I don't know.
I keep in one of the hidden side sets.
I had
those are
had
nice.
Red, and these are like the chain link fence.
Yeah.
Which I don't even remember what this came in, but this actually looks really good in person. Better than
those are probably from a new city police set or something like that. Would be my guess.
Look at this. This is really cool. It's the wall piece.
Oh yeah.
Quarter round.
The if you had built the Mars base from the Friends sets, you would have already seen that part.
And of course, everybody needs a few split bananas.
Those are funny.
And I'm not sure what these are really supposed to be. I think they're supposed to be like shoe bottoms for a minifig.
They are shoe bottoms. They are just like this shoe bottom on this David Bowie-esque looking thing.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, they're shoe bottoms.
Got one of these things, the little like double width.
Double bracket. Double invert. Yeah, double bracket. Yeah.
And I don't even know what this goes to. I'm assuming it's an Ninjago shield, but it's pretty cool.
I'm thinking it's got to be a Ninjago shield.
What else we got? We got everybody's favorite in Georgia, the little peach. Which is
the peach.
Pink.
But it's weird that they made it pink. They should have made it the light bright orange, but that's for me.
And these are actually cooler than I expected, but glass with like a flame.
I think that's from the City Fire sets.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense for fire, but I mean it could look good in a space or fantasy or all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
like
all sorts of places. Yeah,
it's a cool printed part, and then a couple of these printed parts, little burgers, little hot dogs. So like if I want to do like a food truck, perfect for the side of a food truck. This is something new. It's a round, but it's what Lego calls the final brick. Like so, it's a bottom round.
Oh, versus it being the concave, the reverse concave. It's actually a flat round tile.
It's
that
not
is interesting.
Doesn't have any bevel to it. It's just a flat piece. And then I think that's and then I got a whole bunch of these. I use the rail piece a lot when I build structures.
A little bit.
And I built this spring. I built 6 front facades for Ant Bandit, and it's not a secret. He's using them for a video, which at some point will show up in a official Lego thing. So he actually stopped by this morning to return 2 other buildings that he had just borrowed for his photo shoot. And but I pretty much wiped out my rail collection building for him, building a couple of different buildings. So he did pay me for these buildings. So part of the money got put back into a large parts order. And like one of the things I used up all of, and I absolutely love these, are the
windows with the brackets or the
window glass with the bars.
Yeah.
Like you could turn them sideways too for a different look.
Different effects.
So I got like 20 of those because I basically wiped out that. And this is for you spacey people. It's a canopy.
Yep.
In the dark.
The new dark.
The new
trans dark or trans black, as opposed to the trans dark, the trans brown.
And then this is in the Titanic set. I just thought it was cool. It's the little flag parts that come with the Titanic. So you get the British and the US flag, and they're on a vinyl material.
That's cool.
I own the Titanic, so I knew exactly what they were going to look like because I'd already built my Titanic set. But that was cool. And then to this morning, I know he's probably not listening, but it's all Jeff Van Winnen's fault because in his Canadian Brick Builders chat, of which I'm an honorary friend of Canada, happy Canada Day, all of our friends in Canada.
Yes, happy Canada Day.
He pointed out that like 192 new parts had dropped on Bricks and Pieces. And so my fingers did a lot of clicking very quickly, and I spent a lot because I haven't. There were a lot of parts that came out a while ago that I hadn't bought. So like, there's the new flat tile that's like a 1x2 tile, but it's got like the one corner cut diagonally.
Yep.
I bought 12 in every color.
No surprise. No surprise. Which I still think that's not enough of each color. Not enough, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, and then the piece that is shaped like this, but it's a solid cheese whip.
It's the solid cheese grater. Yes.
Yeah. So I bought that in every color that was available. What really burned my wheels or ground my gears, I guess, would be
ground your gears.
I put 30 of the crabs in my basket. And I was like, click, click, click. And I even thought, I'm actually really surprised the crabs are still here, that they haven't sold out. And while like a whole 2 minutes after I thought that, I noticed that it said out of stock, but it still showed up in my basket. So I like hit click to order, and I thought I got them. But when I went to look after the order processed, they're
not there.
You people, you crab dealers,
Newman.
Because I wanted to do a whole beach scene at some point where there's like crabs on the beach, and then recreate a couple of his crabulons like coming out of the water and being like, the crabulons are meeting like the earth crabs,
the local indigenous crabs.
Yes, they're like, take us to your crab leader.
So you may not have heard this, but Vintage Bricks mentioned this. By the way, what's up, Moto, Vintage Bricks, Brick Jedi, minifig collector. So this morning the goats had shown up on Bricks and Pieces, and I also heard that
for like 5 seconds,
the torsos, the black or the Wolfpack torsos had also shown up.
Yes, I got one of each. Are you talking about the castle torsos?
No.
Oh.
Hang on. No, it's one of the other torsos, because somebody reached out to me and said, hey, somebody said these are available and I'm not finding them. So I went and looked, and I'm like, nope, they're not there. It's the Wolfpack torso.
I ordered, so there were 4 of what I would just call castle-y. I don't claim to know anything about castle. And I clicked one of each torso in my bag. I may have gotten that, I may not. I'd have to go back and look at the order.
But they were another one that was they showed that they were available, and then they were gone. So I have a feeling that when somebody uploaded all those parts, they were not paying attention that there were certain things they should not have uploaded yet, and they yanked them back off.
Well, the goat was priced severely cheap.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
We're guessing.
Yeah. And that's my guess, is that, somebody went, oops, I loaded the wrong file. Let's back this out and redo it. Because, I mean, torsos now, like if it's a printed torso, it's like $110.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean.
Depending on the torso, it's ridiculous. So,
torso and plate.
Yep, and also they did post up the other 2 Ninjago City sets, and also a bunch of magnets. I did go ahead and spend my points on the Space Magnet, and then the 2 Ninjago sets that I didn't have. So those are new things that happened today too. Man, you looked like you were about to say something and I cut you off. No?
Yeah, good.
Fine. Be that.
I'm happy.
You're happy. You're happy.
I'm sorting my lovely new parts. It's so exciting.
You're so excited. You're so excited.
Except that I won't get to even put them away because I'm leaving for rodeo.
The rodeo. Yes. I know. I'm
the origin of tonight's screen name.
I'm already in my second phase of FOMO for the summer. I know that round 3 will be in August, when Slopes and Virginia happen, but I'll survive.
Yeah, at one point I thought maybe Virginia would happen, but I have just been exhausted by doing too many things too close together this summer. But since I know my husband doesn't listen to this, I will reveal that I am keeping an eye on Bricks in the Six in Toronto the weekend before Thanksgiving, because my school is the whole next week, so we don't have class. So I went up there. We could leisurely spend our time in balmy Toronto in late November.
Yeah.
Make our way down through Pittsburgh or Cleveland and see all the sights that one wants to see in that time of year. So
all the sights.
But I don't know. We'll see. I asked Jeff Van Wyn and I said, can you tell me like what's the drop dead date where I have to make a decision if I'm going? Because I was like, we may be pushing right up against that before our decision is made. Because I know right now, if I went downstairs and say, hey, what do you think about going to Toronto? He'd be like, you're not going anywhere. You keep complaining about how tired you are because you overbooked for the summer. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but it'll be November then. And I will be bored because I wouldn't have gone out of state for like.
You don't have ADHD at all.
No. I know how bored I'll be in November.
But that's when you're supposed to start building Lego stuff and getting ready for Atlanta BrickCon in February.
Well, my planned new thing for Atlanta BrickCon is I hope to be part of the Neo Atlanta. So I might be working on what I actually will be working on next. Will be just playing around with lighting because I got these like trans neon. I got these babies, and then I ordered a whole bunch of the trans light neon green, and it's part of my bulk order. So I've got 4 colors other than the already pre-existing solid colors that are out there. The clear ones.
I may come and borrow some of those trans neon green ones.
Yeah, good luck with that. I'm hiding those where you.
I got to keep the house until you guys change the locks and put an alarm system in.
I know that's why. Well, we actually are getting an alarm system.
I know. I bet if I'm going to pilfer anything, I got to come do it soon.
Yes. I'm not telling you what the safe word is, so they'll just come in. Intruder.
That's funny. But no, because as Minifig Collector's asking, how is the mansion coming? I am actually on the last 2 bags for the mansion to just build it for the first time. And I've already started looking at things on it while I've been building it and deciding how I'm going to change it. So it's going to be a slow process for that, because I also did we got bulk plug in this weekend, which had a bunch of rock and tree pieces that I want for my expanded Viking village. So I might start working on that. I still got the Mars moon base that I still want to finish working on to do that. And I also started working on the red mega habitat. So I've got stuff in plan to keep me busy between now and Atlanta BrickCon. And I said that I was going to bring less to Atlanta BrickCon than I did last year, but it doesn't sound like I'm going to.
Everyone needs dark orange tubing like this would, if I could work it into my Neo Atlanta build, this is definitely.
I definitely think you should try in some way, shape, or form. I definitely think that should be the case. So you know what? There's Target clearances going on, and I walked past them.
No,
I walked past them. I did get. I take that back. I did get 2 Indiana Jones Temple Lost Ark sets, and I also finally picked up the car on the plane from the 3rd movie.
You're gonna have to go back to rehab.
But
I'm Dana, and I'm a Lego addict.
But everything else, I've walked past. I've walked past them. I'm like, I could pick these up, but I've got several $100s worth of Pick-a-Brick orders that I already have in my head. And I just don't see the reason for me to buy sets on clearance that I may or may not flip or may use and save my money.
Flipping takes time. That's the other thing.
It does. I mean,
at my Bricklink store this afternoon, and I'm like, I don't have to worry about filling any orders, at least for 2 weeks.
Yeah, there you go. Are you closing your store for 2 weeks?
Yeah. I reopened it after the incident, and I re-inventoried everything. And I actually have had some decent sales. I had somebody like buy something and just not pay, and I sent them an invoice 3 times, and I'm like, all right, fine. Yeah. Non-paying buyer, NPU, and there's someone who's bought a lot. They have a lot of ratings, so I'm like, hopefully it didn't die on me or something, and I'll feel bad about like.
What's funny is that you say that, and I've talked to 2 different people who have had Jenny from Wild Bricks and also Michael from North Point. Both of them have had conversations with me about certain people that they just haven't heard from and hadn't seen in a while. Because matter of fact, Michael had asked me about Shannon from our lug because he hadn't seen him in a while, and Shannon's gone through some life-changing stuff, and so he hasn't been buying as much, and so he's alive and well. But Jenny said the same thing. She had this lady who lives here in Atlanta, who she had and I order quite a bit from Jenny. I've got like some 34 orders that I've processed through her store, and this lady's got like double that. So and she hasn't heard from her. I want to say she hadn't heard from her in like 2 months, maybe 3 months. So she started sending out messages. She's like, and this lady's like 76. And so it's like this question of, I hope that she's okay. And there was another person that Michael at North Point was like, another older train collector guy. He's, every time there's a train set, he is there day one to pick it up. Haven't seen him in 2 months. And it's like, I hope something bad didn't happen. So it happens. It happens, unfortunately, which is sad. It's sad when we lose the Lego AFOL. It's sad when we lose AFOL.
You keep saying that to me. The surprising thing, and this is old gray bricks, but the surprising thing of reaching the age that I have is just people that you care about passing away. And like, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but like, it's like, I had heard plenty of jokes from older parents and uncles and aunts about like, well, your body just doesn't work so good when you get older. So that part, I kind of was like, well, okay, that's the way it's going to be, I guess.
That's going to happen. Yeah.
That part where like, you just suddenly lose somebody that you were, I mean, I don't want to be morbid here, but like when my grandparents passed away, all of them were old and not well before they passed. And it wasn't exactly a shock.
Right.
Of course, I'm there's still sadness there, but I've had some really shocking losses in the last couple of years, and people I just didn't expect to say goodbye to.
Absolutely. I mean, we while we may be at the age where it could happen a little bit, you don't expect it to happen very often, because in my mind, it's still another 20, 30 years before that should be happening.
Right. And honestly, we just saw that in the Lego community. The guy who I never knew him, but the Brick Shelf creator passed away.
Yeah.
A friend of mine that I played hockey with at the Gay Games, his husband died very unexpectedly. It's actually, all right. Today's hat is
it Chinese lanterns?
Yeah. Memento Mori. So they do these as like a way to remember people.
Yeah.
They have the floating lanterns that they burn on the water, and then eventually they burn down. Anyways, I thought it was a really cool hat before any of this tragic stuff happened. But I mean, we in the Lego community have had to say a surprise goodbye to a few people in the last year, and I'm not going to name this person, but there's someone in the Lego community I know that hasn't always had the best health, and when they go quiet for a while, I'm always a little worried.
Yeah.
So it's great when they pop back up, and you're like, okay, I'm glad you're doing well.
They're alive and well. Yay, we can continue on and not worry about them for a while.
That little voice in the back of my head, well, you can go quiet now. Like, I hope everything's okay with something.
No, it happens. It's yeah.
And I think when I'm in my 20s, I never thought about that happening. But now that I'm in my 50s, that little voice goes, it's been a while. I hope everything's okay. So.
Which is always good to check in on your friends from time to time. I mean, even we've mentioned this from time to time that the four of us normally have an ongoing text message that's been going on for years. I literally can say years that text chat has been going on. And if 3 or 4 days go by and there's no chatter, one of us will go, is everybody alive? Has anybody died?
Well, especially this summer, because since we started doing Old Gray Bricks,
check in with your friends.
Glad you're alive, Brett. We used to do the show 2 days a week, and in the summer we cut back to one. And then there's other times where like even the one day, like things are just happening, or I'm out of town, somebody's tired and it didn't happen. And so like the frequency, even this year has dropped off significantly. And that's, our things happen in lives, and sometimes people just don't have the same amount of time, but.
And Lego is cyclical. I mean, sometimes you got Lego time, and sometimes you don't have Lego time.
I was talking to somebody after I had my, thing where I had to go to the hospital, and my hospital thing really wasn't life-threatening, except that they were like, you could go into cardiac arrest, but we're trying to make sure that doesn't happen. So I'm like, well, thank you.
That's thoughtful of them.
But for the most part, it wasn't like, oh my God, we must stick him or he's going to pass away kind of deal. But it was like, yeah, his things are really out of whack. We're going to fix your blood chemistry again. And I got home and I was talking to my friends, and I said, I have this side project where I'd like to write a book and do a podcast on counties, because I'm trying to visit every U.S. county. And he was very generous and gave me a nice microphone for Christmas because he wanted to encourage me to do the podcast thing.
That's cool.
And he's like, so what's going on with the podcast? And I said, well, I still want to do it, but I'm also saying that's something I could do in my 60s when I may no longer be playing ice hockey, right? So like, I've got my Lego hobby, I've got my ice hockey hobby, and I've got work, and I've got 2 cats and plants, and there's just some days where I'm like, I got too much I got going on right now.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, you gotta balance work, life, fun. I mean, I would love to do. I mean, I cut back on doing my full life this week. I mean, I would do 20 minutes on a Friday, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but it was one less mental stress thing that I didn't have to worry about. And so I just was like, you know what, I'll get back to it when I feel more time, emotionally, physically, all that jazz, and just worrying about it later. Because every so often, I may have something for work where I don't have any free time, where it's just nonstop, go, big project, whatever it is. And then there may be weeks or days where I'm like, oh, all right, I'm sitting here doing nothing. But I got to make sure to keep things consistent for myself and not commit to things that I can't do just because I don't want to do that to myself. And, it's weird. I am more concerned about my own mental health than I have in my entire life. just keeping things consistent, and it makes a big difference in my day-to-day. So it's important. It's important.
Yeah, self-awareness is important too. I mean,
yeah,
I struggle with my psychologist jokes. I talk to her once a month, and I'll be like, yeah, things are going to calm down. And then like, oh, I'm going to go to 3 different things in 3 months. And she's like chuckling. And I'm like, yeah. So you were like, it's going to slow down, huh? And I'm like, well, it'll slow down after that. Yeah.
I believe the phrase is famous last words. Is that not how it goes? I think.
But circling this conversation back to the ostensible topic of the Lego, that the one great thing about Lego is that, I won't be able to play ice hockey forever, but
right.
Knock on wood, I can stick plastic together until the day before I come over. So,
although I do have this fear that if I lose my vision as I get older.
Well, that would be like those builds where you can't look at the stuff.
Everything would be a blind build, even the instructions. There's no instructions; it's just a bag of parts in front of me.
Yeah, but by that point, you could just let Elon put a chip in your head, and he can just digitally.
I feel seen here. I feel seen here. I'm just saying. Just saying. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah. If you don't have the parts, if you don't have the eyes to see the instructions, I mean, I could still build, but I wouldn't be able to find my parts. I'd have, that'd be one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be kind of weird. So what's up, dude, Jude? But I did do some building since last we talked.
Oh, dude, show.
I don't think I did this. I had to have not, because last week I showed that I got the little bear robot from Moto. I did build a little. I don't know, I'll go full screen for this for a second. I did build a little chunky space cat mech.
Space cat.
He's got whiskers. He's 4 paws. He's got dual rattling guns on the side, and he's even got his own laser pointer tail, which I thought was my fun little addition to the fact that he's got a little laser pointer tail. And originally, I had built him with pound cake inside, but then I realized no, it really needs to have Jonesy because it's space. So space, and then today, or actually yesterday, I filmed it today, but I built it yesterday because we got our lug bulk parts in, and I'd gotten the cool little tri-bar holders and a bunch of.
Oh my goodness, you went crazy. Gray sausages.
Yes, gray sausages. I mean, because I knew that I could build, just something, just connecting all the things together. Just to create a little cube. And I thought this is kind of cool. And I'm like, what happens if I was to, flip the little bracket around and connect 2 brackets together? And I started just stacking them. And I was like, okay, now I regret not ordering even more hot dogs. Because I mean, this is only, I think somebody asked me, it's like 17 centimeters for you Metro people. But I'm like,
but who's counting?
I could have made it big, or I could have done like a sphere with an internal portion or something like that. But this gives some fun stuff. And then when I took it downstairs and I was like, I got to take a picture of this. And every time I tried to take a picture, I'm like, no, that's not, it looks good in person, but the angle looks weird on the camera. So I'm like, try a different angle. I'm like, screw it. It's got to be a video. That's the only way I can show this, because it is just, as you spin it, just the whole feel of it changes. And it's just fun. It's just fun. And again, people can do the strangest things with Lego. So
do you follow the Zachary guy who does the
oh yes, his stuff is insane. Oh, I love that guy.
I want to just
Chicago this year. He was in Chicago this year.
I know. I saw the picture.
Bubba he gave Bubba one of his sculptures. I was like, oh, he gave him the pumpkin one.
He's done a couple of tutorials, and one of the mental things on my list to do is to go back through his feed and do the step by step to make his cubes, because they are works of art.
They are
they're just cool.
He is definitely high on my list of I hate that guy, because everything that he puts up, I'm just like, it's taking Lego art to stopping to think about, I don't want to build a scene. I don't want to build a building, a car, a spaceship. I want to build something that just is a piece of art and is smooth and stylized and some forced perspective, some breaking the fourth wall. It's just like, okay, I would buy any one of his builds as a set and put it on the mantle or put it on the coffee table. If he doesn't do a Lego Ideas set at some point in time, somebody needs to get on that and tap him on the shoulder and say, hey, dude, pick one that's like 300-400 pieces and put it in as a Lego Ideas, because it's just cool. It's
him, and for me, the other person is the European builder Ranghall. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but
he's the guy I stole his trees from. Yeah, his building is trees.
Every building is like,
I
can't even imagine something that looks like that, let alone build it. Like where his brain goes before he assembles it.
Yeah,
I'm like, I could copy it once he shows me like how he did it.
Yeah,
but my own curiosity doesn't take me to where he goes. It's just, I just tip of the hat.
Yeah. I mean, he does some amazing NPU, just even his platforms, the platform that he builds off of is its own piece of work and its own piece of art. And it in itself is like, okay, that's just cool. Even if you just had the base and there was nothing on it, it's just a cool way that you did that.
There are people that you see that do amazing work, but sometimes it's like, well, they just made it really big, or, they took it all the way to the extreme, but it's kind of like a known technique or a known look.
Right.
But Ranghall and Zachary, to me, do stuff I have never seen before, and I have never imagined seeing before.
Or even the brick bending guy. Have you seen him?
You mean the Instagram account?
It's called Brick Bending, I think his handle is Brick Bender. I think, not to be confused with
our friend
Alabama,
whose bulk box I will be delivering on Tuesday.
But the fact of taking plates at certain specific integrals and integers and using the Lego math the way he does, and then being able to pull the different directions and just using those slight tolerances to bend the brick and without them snapping. It's one of those mind-blowing scenarios. It's just, and I'm sure that for him, it's a science at this point in time where knowing what pieces do what together makes it easier to do X. And it just, but it still blows my mind every time I see it.
And the trial and error part of it, like, to me, that's like on the new Hiroshima, New Atlanta, like they want people to submit designs, but part of it is that I need about 2 months to just play with the light source and run it through things and just see what I can figure out that I could do with trans neon light green panels that might look really cool, or it might look like crap. But I need to like trial and error it, and just, how much light, and like, do I diffuse it through like wax paper? You know, I mean, I've seen other folks. I know a bit about what other folks have done.
Right.
I've never done it.
Right.
So I need that just kind of trial and error experience of seeing what I like and what I don't like before I submit, like, here's what it's going to look like. Cause I don't know.
Well, I mean, like, for example, I mean, when you think about the Rick Bending guy, I mean, most of his projects require, like, let's say 500 to 1,000 or even 2,000 of like a 1x4 plate. You don't have those on hand.
Not normal people.
Well, yeah, not normal people, and they're all of a single color even too. So you would think that maybe he played around with, a Rainbow Bright version of some of his builds and then said, okay, now I know what it's going to look like. Now I'll order the correct color in this quantity. But otherwise, how do you do? I mean, you've got to have something that's telling you, okay, this is what I need to order this parts. Because, and I said this once, I'll say it 1,000 times, some of my favorite Lego builds have been taking a specific element and then using like 5,000 of them. And it's just because it creates a certain texture, a certain feel that you couldn't get unless you had a large, ridiculous number of a specific part. We talked about this thing on Saturday where, somebody's using hammers or wrenches or crowbars to create different textures. And if you
Thor's hammer.
Yeah, Thor's hammer. If you didn't have 20 Thor's hammers, how could you have made this texture? And so it's amazing when somebody does it. He keeps doing this to me. Dawn from season 2 of Lego Masters, she's done some really cool builds that, again, she's taken, like she took broom handles or like push brooms and needed like 30 of them or 50 of them to do just some unique little texture. But if you didn't have 30 to 50 brooms, how could you do it? So
that's why we all need 5,000 of every part Lego's ever made.
It's funny because Moto is probably right here. The guy that he guts the pick and brick walls, which actually makes sense. Yeah, if I walked in and found, because if you think about some of the times 1x4s in like lavender, and yeah, sure, just grab the whole freaking thing.
Moto, there's a builder up in South Carolina, Greenville, Andrew Mansbach, and he literally has a whole town laid out that's called Pick or Brick Town, and he builds buildings on whatever shows up on the Pick or Brick, and some of it's very clever. Like he used some roof tiles turned backwards to just give the impression that it's a solid wall, but he's like, he lifts off the roof, and you're like, oh, those are all 2x2 roof tiles that he just stacks.
Well, you know what? And this is one of the things that I have always preached and love is when you are limited on the parts you have available to you, you will come up with some creative NPU time and time again. Because when doing the monochrome habitats, there weren't snot pieces or there weren't brackets in specific colors. And if I wanted to try and do something, I had to come up with something clever to make it work, or there just wasn't bricks. So it really became tricky. And look at this. Look who's in the chat today. Look at it's Bricksnap.
Martin from Alabama.
Oh, lurking in the chat, this chat and being on Bricklink. Yeah, because we were talking parts. So yeah, we could definitely get you into some hot water with your bank account. Which actually brings me my next topic, and we're talking about that kind of relates to this, is my red habitat. I'm going to be doing something I've never built before, something that I've never really played with because I just don't work with trees. I just don't build trees. I mean, you don't have trees in moon bases. I take the back. I've done some trees.
Have you gone to Full Plate Builds website?
I don't think so, but
he has tree tutorials that are really nice there.
Well, I may have, because I went through, I probably spent, I don't know, an hour or 2 hours just searching through images, searching through YouTube videos, and actually I watched a lot of videos from people who I know.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. But I really wasn't finding what I was looking for. Until I found this lady from Canada. She goes by MB Bricks.
I don't think I know. Is this Instagram or on
Instagram? Well, actually, Instagram and YouTube. She goes by MB Bricks, and she had this great tutorial on trees. And the secret sauce that I fell in love with is she was using hinge bricks or hinge plates, the click plates, to give you the angles so that things weren't flat. So that she was clicking them down. And I was like, and also using the 1x2 hinge, the 1x4 hinge plates to create an additional angle and then use a click plate on that one as well. And I was like, okay, this gives me what I want to do. And it was the right thing. So I did a rough draft. Yep, that's her. That's who I found the trees from. Shot her a message, said this is what I was looking for. Thanked her. She says, I'm excited for you. I hope your trees turn out well. Because again, I'm doing everything in red.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, she does some amazing things. Yeah, you go looking and you're like, okay, yeah, this person knows what she's doing. But again, I'm trying to do it all in one color versus, and so that again, there's only certain parts that are available. Parts that I thought were going to be common, not. Because
how many times do you have to learn that lesson?
Obviously, every time I do something, it's really what it comes down to.
What do you mean that only appeared in 2 sets? I need a lot of that.
I need a lot of those. Well, I did find, I'm making some adjustments and using some different elements, but she gave me the right place to start. But again, I built one digitally, and it gives me a starting place. But I'm just going to order the parts for the tree right now. Before I even figure out what the rest of the habitat is going to look like, I want to play with it. And I think the way I'm going to be able to do what I want to do is if I actually just, the digital build, I'm going to order double of what I order or what I built it for, because I know I'm going to want to do some things. Maybe I'm going to add more than one. Maybe I'll add, some partial trees or something like that to fill in some space. But I want to sit down and play with it. I'm actually going to go old school and just spread all the parts out in front of me and do some free build. But you can't do that if you don't have the parts. And that's where I passed up all the clearance. So, I'm like, I'm going to order parts. I need parts.
Before the A-frame came out by the Italian guy whose name I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I had kicked around the idea of doing a cabin in woods. And at one point I use Pinterest sometimes if I have busy brain in bed and I'm trying to fall asleep.
Yeah.
I'll go on Pinterest and just scroll through and save pictures, and I've got different albums, and I do a lot of architecture saving, but I have a folder that's just foliage, and it's just Lego foliage that people have done, and I just put those pictures in an album. And I started grabbing some of those pictures and just building different trees and bushes that I'd seen other people do. And at one point I thought, what I really should do is just build like 12 different kinds of pieces of foliage and like set them on a table. And then I get around to doing one of my structures and I'm like, okay, what kind of tree do we need here? And just grab one off of the like ready to display. But of course I didn't do that, but it was a good idea.
Yeah. Well, no, actually it's interesting you mentioned that. I saw something and I forget which builder it is off the top of my head. It might be STL Bricks or something like that. But he was showing that he was getting ready to do a new build. And he had created a parts swatch board.
Okay.
So it was like tiles and plates or something like that attached to some white as a holder, so that he could just take, like you were doing paint swatches or fabric swatches to see, okay, what colors do I want to go together, this or this and that. And it's a board that he has just to do that.
It's here somewhere, but I have a Ziploc bag that has a 1x2 brick in every color, that they come in that size. And when Thomas gave me the book on color theory, I would actually keep it in my jacket pocket. And if I'm sitting in a doctor's office, I literally would like put together and look at complementary colors and just look at different colors in juxtaposition to each other.
Yeah.
And it was a way that I could like not be bored at the doctor's waiting room and still be thinking about Lego. And just having that, it was a nice little, I don't know, fidget spinner or whatever, like, it's keeping me from tapping my foot in the doctor's room probably. But
I'm still waiting for somebody somewhere to figure out a new code or a new web language or whatever for us to be able to have Bricklink Studio on an iPad or something like that. Something that's lightweight and not too robust, but just gives us, I don't need it to be able to create instructions or to do. Yeah, I did get a bunch of those. I don't need to do a 3D render off my tablet.
This was a part I voted for. I picked it because I had seen other people use the green blade as,
Foliage for trees.
rows of like, high grass or whatever. And I'm like, you need like 100 of these things or 200 of these things if you're going to do it. And so it was just one of those things where like, I'm just going to get some quantity, and I don't even have a specific idea today, but I'm going to need it. And here's another one from Bulk Lug. And this is the corn piece, where it kind of curves out, but obviously, nobody has brown corn, or if they do, corn is doing well.
But they'll make good tree limbs too.
Good tree, bushes. You can do some cool stuff with it. The other part that was new, and we ended up getting 2 colors, is this new
the lettuce.
I think it looks like a fern leaf, but
it does look like a fern leaf. Yeah,
the fern coming off at an angle.
Did you get the white ones too?
I got white ones. So we had 3 colors. We had dark green, the lime green, and white. Very excited about this. And then you can never ever have enough olive green, especially in plants. So
ironically,
rubberies.
I need to go back and look at and see your parts list compared to my parts list, because I think this year was probably the most that we've ordered the same.
Probably, because a lot of times you are very, classic space, gray, blue, gray, blue, dark gray.
Yep, very, very much so. This year I did add a lot more foliage type pieces and stuff like that.
Space. Yeah. These in blue were on the Pick or Pick this morning
because it's a new color for it. So
it's a new color. So if you are a classic space person and you want the snot brick,
were they best sellers?
What's that?
Were they best sellers?
I don't remember.
They're probably not.
I threw 20 in my basket, so I originally put 50 in because I figured if I tell Giddens, he's going to be like, "Can't you just give me some?" But I texted y'all and nobody said like, "Can you?" I'm like, "Fine." I clicked it from 50 back down to 25. I'm like, I don't need 50. I don't build classic space, so I don't need that.
Well, the thing is I ordered, so many of those in blue or black and light gray, because Connor and I were like, well, I want it in light gray for reasons. And he's like, well, I want it in black for reasons. I'm like, well, let's just get them both. I mean,
you've got your chocolate and my peanut butter.
Exactly. I mean, there's no reason we can't put both colors down. And, if people want to vote for it, we vote for it. It was democratic. And so we got, I think that's, other than like masonry bricks and foliage, that's probably one of the first times I've seen an element that isn't foliage or masonry bricks that we've got more than one color at one time.
I agree.
It's usually something like that. But that's like the Swiss Army brick of parts now, because there's so many versatile. It's rounded. It's not. It's too high. It's got a hole in it. It's a great part.
Speaking of our favorite bricks. The pale green, or as they call it, yellowish green, the light aqua, and the light nougat, aka Caucasian people color. I have no idea what I'm going to do with a whole bunch of light nougat, but I've seen a couple of people build buildings, and it actually looks really good. And one of the things one of the Ninjago City used the light nougat as a texture color. I can't remember now which set I saw it in, but it's definitely been used in a building set.
Well, I know it's been used I think it originated in some Harry Potter sets.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
I think I think it was Diagon Alley is where it may have come up with, and I'm only guessing on that.
Everybody needs a brick of white plates.
But what's funny is that when we did those in light gray, that would have been like an eighth of the ones that I ordered.
Oh, I believe it. I actually, because I do buildings and I buy a lot of the friend sets, used friend sets on Facebook Marketplace. I actually have a lot of these in frenzy colors, but I actually have a lot in light gray. So the year that they were on, I didn't buy any, but the white ones I have almost none of. And every year I lay out my Christmas Village stuff, and I think, I need more plates just for the Christmas Village layout. Yes, you can get like a white tablecloth or something, but the minifigs stand up better on a base plate.
However, I've used to think that way too, but I've since gone to the philosophy of mills. And if I'm going to do that, it's going to wind up being layered. So I'm going to use 4x4 plates versus a 16 because I want to be able to create some layers. So you still need them though.
I have a conversation offline about how we could do Mills plates as a project support next year.
Yep. And considering what information I got today on our other project support, it's a no-brainer that we should do for next year. So yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I thought for sure we were going to get dinged as you shouldn't have turned this in at the very last hour.
And that was not the case.
Apparently somebody at headquarters was like, let's just approve all these things and get this off my desk so I can move on to the next. So it's like, yeah, you're in. Place your order. It was like the most terse email I think I've ever gotten.
You know, I like a nice brief email personally.
Well, I fully expected. I was fully prepared when I saw the message on the LAN. I'm like, oh great, it's gonna be you forgot to dot this I and cross this T, so you'll have to try again next year because you waited the last day and you didn't do it right.
Well, I was
just like, click. This is gonna be bad news. Oh, I think we just got approved.
You know what I think it is? I think it's a different department. And it's run by a different person, and so therefore it's a little more laid back, maybe a little.
The message was from Jordan, so it was the same point of contact.
Oh, all right. Well, I know.
My impression was Jordan was just like, I just want to get this thing done. And he was just like, yes, to everything.
Or here's my thought process on this too. Peach Lug has never requested project support. Let them do it. This is the first time in 5 years of the lug. Or, well, not actually, the lug's been around for longer than that, but I mean, that
restored
I know.
lug.
Yeah, the restored lug. This is the first time they've asked for project support. Submit. Let them have it. Kick it in. It's all good to go. That's my theory, and I'm sticking with it. Either way, we'll find out next year when we try to submit for something different.
Other cool parts. So, I'm sorry, but
continue on. We got another 10 minutes to kill.
The opal pearlescence 2x2 brick.
Oh. What the heck I know? I mean, I know that opalescent has been very popular in a lot of sets, but I don't think I've ever seen them as bricks. It's usually been like tiles and panels.
Yeah. So this is something I want to play around with light and put light behind it, and maybe put like, the neon green behind it and have the light turn green and then go through and see if it's cool, or maybe it looks like crap. I don't know, but I want to play around and find out. Or, maybe put this behind the garage door panels of different colors and see if it doesn't like do something interesting with the light. So who knows?
Okay. Yeah.
And then the kind of opalescence purple. These are the gemstones.
Oh, the gemstones. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to see through the plastic.
I'm actually surprised I didn't get any of those, because I know that a certain Erickson brother probably bought like 1,000 of them.
Oh yes. He was the one on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah. He bought a huge quantity.
Yeah.
And then this was probably stupid. Like, I don't know what I'm ever going to do with 25 of these, but I love the barrels.
You know what? I'm a big fan of barrels too, because they do have some. I mean, you can usually use some sort of NPU for them for something.
Yeah.
It's always a cool thing.
I've seen them used in space stuff as like a radar dish. And then these things are always crazy expensive, but the silver ink,
the
2x4, and this was Will. This was here in the Peach Lug, we have a guy who does recreations of actual rocket ships, and they're, from my perspective, extremely accurate. And so when there's that like gold foil or silver foil, if you built the lunar lander, about all the they use the gold ink and the silver ink parts.
Yep.
And so, yeah, when he put it on, I was like, these things are crazy expensive. So at the better price that we're getting them at, I'm going to make sure that I get I think I got 50. I don't know.
I know that Steve is probably not still listening, since he's probably still at dinner.
Yeah.
He got to do a parts draft for the Bond car, the Speed Champions car, and it was all full of all of that shiny.
Yep, the awesome
silver.
Yep.
And I was like, I'm like, that would have been a great parts draft set, because I've bought in like 2 of those on clearance, just because I'm like, this is great parts in here.
Yeah.
I'll grab it because it's good parts.
But to circle back to the Target discounts that you walk past.
Yeah.
In our chat with Shannon and our other friend here, they were talking, and I thought, I would rather go out and spend $200 on online bricks and pieces and get every single thing that I order to something that I want.
Yep.
Than buy, for the same $200, 4 or 5 sets where there's like 25% of it's like, ooh, I really want this part.
Yep.
Why not have every dollar go towards something that you're excited about?
I'm reaching a new level. Let's call it that.
New Year's resolution.
I don't know if it's a resolution or a new level or whatever it is, but I have really, really scaled back on the number of sets that I've purchased this year comparatively, but my number of Pick-a-Brick orders has gone through the roof. And I'm actually even looking at and deciding, you know what? There's a lot of sets that I have that I don't think I'm going to ever need to see built again. So I'm going to make sure the parts are in there, make sure the minifigures are in there, and start selling some stuff off. And realistically, it's not to like, pay off anything. It's actually, okay, here's more funds for me to buy parts for something that I want to build versus, buying clearance sets to get parts, because we don't have, there's just no reason for that anymore, because, and especially with the standard parts for Pick-a-Brick, you can get them in a week.
Yeah.
And depending on what it is. So it just makes it so much easier to build what I want to build. I don't really care to build sets as much. So that doesn't mean I'm not going to buy sets.
I still enjoy certain types of sets. So I buy a lot of Friends because I like the colors and I think they're fun builds, but then I usually tear them down and use the parts because they're getting new parts and new colors.
Yeah.
I love the new Star Wars, the helmet series. They look great on my office shelf. I love the new vignette series. I just built the Droideka after I got back, and I'm super excited about the 3PO. I saw a shot of the 3PO next to the R2, and it looks very good.
It looks
So I like the Star Wars vignettes, and I love the UCS. I buy every single one of them.
Yeah.
But the thing that I'm noticing is that this sounds so first world, and I just apologize, but typically I only buy $200 sets and up. Like, it's the Rivendell that gets my wallet out. It's the Barad-dûr that gets my wallet out. But the reality is there's only so much display room in the house, and so the Tower of Orthanc is up there.
Yeah,
I'm never taking that apart. I love that set. So but there will come a point where I'll be like, well, I need to take something down, and unless we finish the basement, but. At some point we'll probably move out of this house and downsize. And then what am I going to do with all my sets?
Exactly.
When a new set comes out, and like on Jeff's channel, he does a lot of, like new sets, looking through the news, and he'll be like, well, I'm not really excited about this one. And in my head, the voice is going, I don't have room for another one of those. So like, it's okay if I only like 15% of Lego's product releases, because that's fine. As long as I love 12 a year and I'm like super excited about those 12 sets, I'm perfectly happy only loving 12 sets a year. And if other people are getting sets they love, I'm happy for them. But I don't have the room for 30 sets a year.
And it's getting to the point where it's not cost effective either. I mean, it's too. I mean, the Star Wars sets alone, if all I did was collect Star Wars, it would still be impossible to get all the sets within a calendar year, depending on the price. I mean, now it's sometimes we've seen 2 UCS sets or 2, 2 or even 3 sets that are over $150 or $200 or more, depending on what it is. It's just
at least 5 years. We've gotten to May the 4th, and we've gotten the pre-Christmas. Every year we're getting 2 UCS sets. Now, I don't always buy them, but we're getting 2 per year.
Right. So space is a premium for displaying, and it's just, and they're also starting to, and I'm happy when they do it, because I'm less likely to buy it if it's a repeat of a set they've done before. The only gotcha that gets me, so bleeping minifigures. It's the bleeping minifigures, I'm telling you, because I saw the new Sarlacc pit, and I'm like, I've got 2 of the Sarlacc. I've got the 2 prior Sarlacc pit builds, and I'm like, but then I saw the minifigures, and I was like,
you can go buy that one minifig for $18 and just not buy the rest of the set. But it's still painful to spend that much on the one minifig.
Exactly. For the sheer fact is, I want the Saw Gerrera from the Sith Infiltrator, and I'm like, do I just spend the $50 to get the set because I want the fig, or do I spend $20 or whatever it's going to cost me to get that fig and just get the fig? And then it starts clicking in my head. It's like, but why do I just need the fig? I don't display my Star Wars minifigures. I have two nice cases here with all my collectible minifigures, which I love. But then it starts to make me question, like, well, do I need to do this for my Star Wars figures? Do I start selling off the sets without the figures? Because I know a friend of mine who is a big Star Wars minifig collector, and that's what he did. He sold off all the sets and just kept the figures, which, again, I know everybody Legos differently, but to me, I'm like, why would somebody buy the set without the minifigures? It's like, I don't know, but there are people who do that, especially if it's the right price, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I would buy, so like if I were a person who was like army building TIE fighters, I wouldn't have a problem buying a bunch of TIE fighters that somebody had taken the, the minifig out of. So it kind of depends on what you're wanting to do with your.
Yeah, I guess, because I mean, like the new Star Destroyer comes with a Cal figure, which is from the Lost Jedi, and I'm like, if they didn't put that figure in there, I would not have cared at all.
Product placement, free product placement. You can send us $10 if you want.
Had they not put that Cal figure in that set, there's no reason for me to buy the Star Destroyer, because I have a regular Star Destroyer from 4 years ago. Then I have the episode, or the New Republic, or what is it? Anytime I have to bring Star Wars knowledge out on the fly, I can't do it. So I've got, and then the UCS Star Destroyer. I've got multiple Star Destroyers. So why do I need to buy another small one, except for they put freaking minifigures in it that I want?
Here's my latest internal conundrum is like, a new series comes out. I'm enjoying the TV series. I'm not one of these acolyte haters. I loved episode 4. I thought it was a lot of action. I enjoyed it.
Yep.
But when a new set comes out for something new, I'm like, do I buy this one, or do I wait for a UCS at some point in the future? Like the Ghost, the first Ghost that came out, and I could turn around and double my money for what it goes for these days.
Yep.
But I just have a feeling we're going to eventually get a UCS Ghost. Maybe I'm wrong, and you bought the kit version.
Yeah, I bought the rebrickable version from somebody putting it together, and I love it. I mean, it's up there. I love it.
But
it's great. I don't take it down and move it because, well, like the same reason I don't move the Millennium Falcon. It's brittle to take apart. But
the speed at which they're churning out UCS sets just always gives me some pause. Going, well, what if we get a really big and crazy awesome version of this later? I don't want to buy the $150 version when I'm going to buy the $300 or the $500 version.
Right. Well, and that was part of, like, one of my mindsets was like, okay, you know what? If you have the UCS version of it, sell the other version. Get rid of the smaller version, because you're wanting to display the UCS version. Why hold on to the other version? It just doesn't make any sense. But then there's that part of me that's like, yeah, but the figures.
I am so thankful. We both know someone locally who's minifigure obsessed, and
yes.
Every time I talk to that person, I'm like, I'm so glad I don't have to have every one of the figures. And I am that way about a lot of things. Like I'm the kid who took collect them all as like the voice from heaven when they would say collect them all, and I'd be like, yes, I must have them all.
I'm a comic book collector. I have full runs of lots of comic book series. So when it comes to Lego sets, if there's a series, I got to have them all.
The CMFs is the only one where and even then I don't do certain, like the British, the German soccer team.
The German soccer team and the British Olympic team. Those are the only two that I don't have.
DC Comics, I don't really like DC that much, so I don't care.
Oh, no, I got to see the DC ones I prefer even above and beyond the Marvel ones I prefer above and beyond the DC ones.
Yes, the Marvel ones I agree, but I never read that many DC. I was a big Marvel reader as a kid, so. But yeah, I'm just like, I'm so glad I'm not like, I must have this super rare figure and I'm gonna be obsessed with it until I get that thing in my collection. And I don't know. I'm glad that I'm not that way because
I'm finding that I'm becoming less and less and less concerned with it. And if that portion of the scale is about to tip, then I can see myself really letting go of a lot of things that I thought I would never let go, which is actually probably fortunate for me, because a lot of those sets that I've been holding on to for so long have a lot of rare minifigures in it that have not been remade yet or have not had a new version that still go for, some good money. So I don't know. It might help me recoup the cash from that I've been spending over time and maybe pay something off, or just turn around and buy more parts. So
don't even bother. Like, it's a hobby. You've spent your money. This is not like when people are like, it's my investment. I'm like, no, it's not. It's your hobby.
Yeah, it's my hobby. I don't do Lego because I'm thinking down the road it's going to benefit me financially. Yeah.
The person who might profit from it is whoever executes your estate after you're gone.
Because now that's whole story.
They don't have the sentimental attachment, and they could go list all those things on Bricklink or eBay and let them go for as much money as like. There's too many things in this room and downstairs where I'm like, oh, I would never willingly let it go unless I was like, okay, we need food to eat. I guess I'll sell my, UCS set.
Right. But the odds are, if something was to happen in the world that would cause such a collapse in the economy, all of this plastic would be worthless anyway.
Well, I mean, and when the apocalypse comes, I'm going to be, living in this, attic, playing with my bricks until, the monsters come and eat me. So, at least I'll die happy. So there's,
I'll build my coffin out of the pieces that I have, so that when they kill me, they can just drop me in.
I do have a question, and this is kind of for the chat. I am looking for suggestions. So tomorrow I start driving to Texas for Bricks Rodeo, and there are 2 Dirty Bricksters. So there's a $15 one and a $20 one. And I've been to a couple. And every time I go to one, I think, oh, that's a really great idea. I should have brought that set as a gift. What are great, if you haven't been to Dirty Brickster, it's basically a white elephant gift exchange. So you bring something and that's around 15 or 20. And then, each new person can trade, blah, 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 blah. Any suggestions out there for like what makes for a great Dirty Brickster set?
So I'm going to go ahead and tell my story if anybody's listening and wants to chime in. So I have been to a few, and I actually want to start hosting a Dirty Brickster for Atlanta BrickCon. I want to host at least 2 versions. I want to host the $15 to $25 version and the $45 to $55 version, because you get different things. It creates a whole different spectrum. There's typically more people who will show up for the lower end Dirty Brickster versus the high end Dirty Brickster. But I have seen, and you had asked this question earlier, and I've seen the gambit. I have seen sets that people have gotten, because the gist is what the dollar value is should be the retail value of the set. That doesn't mean that that's what they spent to get it. So there could be clearance sets in there, but it still falls under its retail value still covers for what it is. I took a beatbox from Video for a $15 one. And actually the funny thing was the person who wound up with it was like, oh, cool. And they kept it. And nobody wound up stealing it from them, but they still wound up with it. Battle packs are good. Battle packs are definitely good. I got the one I got from the Brick World last year. It was the Otter Battle Pack. And I was like, because somebody took whatever I had, and I wound up going back, and I'm like, I took that Otter Battle Pack. I'm like, no, this is mine. And luckily I was wound up with it. Sometimes I've seen people throw in some goodies, something rare, something that you don't normally see. That'll usually happen on the more expensive one. Like you might see some retired sets that somebody got on clearance, but it's a retired set, and so they'll throw it in there. Or you might see somebody throw in, like, if the dollar value is $20, they'll throw in 4 poly bags. Yeah, because it equals $20. And so it just it depends. Or they'll my favorite one, and I'm calling this out as one of my stories. This same guy I have seen show up to more than one Dirty Brickster in Chicago. And I think that he is always trying to get the set he brings. Because, and I'll say the reason this was because both these 2 different drafts I've been into, somebody has brought in a sealed Bionicle set. Okay. For their Dirty Brickster. And he is always the one that is like, he has got to get it. It is his mission to leave with that Bionicle set. But what winds up happening is somebody always gets it instead. By the time you go through the whole Dirty Brickster process, somebody else usually winds up with it. But that is like his goal as he comes in there. And it's like, how are you the guy who is after the Bionicle set? And there always seems to be a Bionicle set in the 2 drafts that I've seen you in. So I think that's what his gimmick is. And he is dead serious about that. How important this set is, how valuable this set is.
You think he's doing that deadpan just to make whoever ends up with it feel really great about it?
I don't know him
he
personally.
Actually enjoys like building up the allure of this thing that he brought, and then he can act all disappointed, and secretly he's like, I got them. They were totally into that,
But I think he's one of the Bionicle guys. So that could be, that could be his marketing factor, is like, hey, I'm still trying to make Bionicle cool, make it interesting. But he is like staunch, like he's very serious about how cool this set is, and that he's going to get it and nobody's going to take it from him. It's hysterical.
So here's a question, and I'm actually I'm not entirely sure I'll kick it around. I thought about bringing some GWP stuff. So like a couple years ago, they had like the Christmas wrapping paper. It wasn't Christmas, or like, birthday wrapping paper. Yeah. And it was like, you could redeem some points, and I don't know what to value it at. And I don't know if other people would find it attractive.
Well, I will say this, that a lot of people have wound up wrapping their Dirty Brickster gift with those wrapping papers.
I know. So, but like, would someone want that paper?
Yeah, because actually what's funny is that usually when you open it up, people just rip the paper or whatever it is, if it's just Christmas paper or birthday paper. But when it comes to Lego gift wrapping paper, I will see people cut open, unfold, flatten it out, and they're saving the paper. So even if you decide not to use it as the gift itself, someone will want to save the paper if they get it for whatever the Brickster is on it. So.
I also have the Lego throw blanket that's very fuzzy. I own one, and trust me, I use it every winter. It's like super soft. The cats are all like, oh yes,
oh yeah,
we like it. And I have one that's still sealed in plastic, and I don't know, that's probably worth more than $20.
Actually, I think last year, I think in one of the drafts I was at, somebody did use one of the blankets. So no, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Well, I'm also like not entirely sure like how to value something that was never a purchase. And usually they're valued at like 15 to 20.
Well, that's just it. I mean, I think you can even probably go on Bricklink and see what it's sold for.
Sure.
So, and when it comes to stuff like that, that's one of those things that's like, it doesn't really necessarily fall on the specific price, but no one's going to care. I mean, if you bring in $100 set to a $50 draft, no one's going to care. It's just automatically going to be that thing that gets going all the way through. When somebody walks out of there, it'll be the first thing that gets locked in at the end.
I've also got a couple of the Chinese New Year or some Easter sets or some holiday sets that I thought, well, I could bring like 2 of those, and that would be like in the $20.
Yeah.
And if I pick 2 different holidays, maybe someone would be like, oh, I'm super jazzed about the Halloween set or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So did Dana shred the wrapping paper? Oh, Dana's like the 5-year-old ripping the paper open.
It depends on, it depends on what it was. If it had been Lego paper, I probably would have saved it. But it's like, usually it's like newspaper or a Lego bag that's been taped together. That's usually what I've done, is I've taken a Lego bag and just taped it around the box.
I think I might have one of those Target Lego gift bags somewhere downstairs.
Target Lego gift bag?
Yeah. So when Target had, I think it was Target, someone gave me a small gift in a bag that had like Lego minifigs in different colors. I assumed it was from Target, but it was basically like a Lego gift bag, like you can get it.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I understand. I get what you're saying. I don't know if I've ever seen that.
Yeah.
Did you? No, Moto. I did not shred the gift. That guy.
Why does he have a hand? Is that because he throws a wrench into the conversation?
No, he's a moderator in the chat, so he can actually.
Oh yeah,
he's got special powers.
He can put his hands on you if you misbehave. His blue Hans. His blue Hans.
Stay away from my blue Hans.
Is that on purpose? The blue Hans, or was that just a happy accident?
The fact that the wrench is blue, or what's blue?
The hands are blue.
On the wrench.
Or is it a wrench or is it a hand?
It's a wrench. It's a wrench.
I'm getting that. I'm already going blind, Dana.
Yeah, it's a wrench. It's not a minifigure hand. It's actually a wrench.
Kind of looks like a minifigure hand.
It does, but does not a minifigure hand look like a wrench?
That they should make like sight vision tests made out of Lego parts, and you'd be like, "Is that a minifigure hand or a wrench?" You'd be like, "That's a hand."
No, we're not going there. We're not doing that. I already have enough problems trying to see the split in the pill that I have to crack in half every night for Jack to give him for his. I got to put I'm like, where are my glasses? I got to put them on. Oh, now I can see it. Yeah, no, I'm not.
Is that white or is that glow in the dark white?
Okay. All right, kids. It's an hour and 15 minutes. I'm a little beyond where I was supposed to be. We were getting in the chat about the Dirty Brickster. Hopefully you have come up with an idea for what you're going to take. If not, you'll figure something out between now and Thursday.
I'm going to call over your house and just take one of the sets in your basement that you forgot you even owned.
That's entirely. Oh, I guarantee, because when I was downstairs looking for something the other day, I'm like, oh, I forgot I had 5 of these. Anyway. So that being said, we're going to bring this to an end. Have a safe drive for those of you who are heading to Brick Rodeo. Please have a happy and safe 4th of July. Make sure your pets and loved ones are safe from fireworks.
Don't hold the fireworks in your hand when you light them.
Or at least not in your dominant hand, if anything.
Give them to your small children to light.
Yes, exactly. So, but anyway, yes, have a safe and happy 4th of July for those who celebrate. And for those who don't, enjoy your Thursday off from work. If you're not in retail, I think, give or take. But until next week, we will be back on Monday. There may be one of us, there may be 2 of us, there may be none of us. Who knows? Time will tell. Go out there, be nice to your neighbor, build something awesome, and we will catch you next week. Ta-ta for now. Bye, everybody. I'm going to do this one-handed because I got to turn the stream off. Don't cross the streams.